So I'm just going to start by saying this. When we are playing this game and one of my friend's dogs comes up on the top of the board here, it automatically becomes a full-out war to try to walk those dogs.
What do you mean? Like, is there a dog here that has the
Yes.
name of one of your?
Well, no.
Oh.
So, like, Luna.
Okay.
This is my friend's Tim's dog. So this is
Okay.
Tim Chuon's dog.
Uh-huh.
Mifa, this is Professor Meg's dog. And then Penny, this is Jenna from the Board Game Gardens dog. And I know there's a lot of other dogs in here. But literally every single time that we're playing this game, and because my daughter now, she knows, Addie knows the dogs, and she knows the ones that correlate with our friends. And so like Professor Meg's she calls Professor Meg Mermaid because of her hair. And so whenever she sees Mifa, she's like, I have to get the mermaid dog. I have to get the mermaid dog. And so it becomes like a full-out war to get these dogs. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel today. My name is Carly.
And I'm Kim.
And today we're going to be reviewing, oh my goodness, what is this? Is this 1 to 4? Oh, no. It doesn't even say in the box.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that before when I was looking at it.
But is there a solo mode? There is a solo mode in this.
So yeah, 1 to 5.
It's gotta be 1 to 5. 1 to 5 from Terradice Games. Okay, round 2. Hi friends, welcome back to the channel today. My name is Carly.
And I'm Kim.
And today we're going to be reviewing the 1 to 5 player game Bark Avenue from Terradice Games. Do you want to do the theme? Maybe I'll hold back on my lap.
Oh. So in Bark Avenue, you are a professional dog walker in I like nothing but okay. In Bark Avenue, you are a professional dog walker in good old New York City. In this game, you will be picking up dogs, taking them around the city, and taking them to do their favorite activities. And then when they're all done, you get to collect those tips.
All the money.
All the money.
Before we share our thoughts on this game, let's jump over to a really quick overview of how it plays. Welcome to Bark Avenue. You and your fellow gamers will be playing as dog walkers on the bustling streets of New York City. Competition is fierce though, as the walker who earns the most tips by sunset wins the day and walks away as the best dog walker in the Big Apple. Let's run through a general overview of how this game plays and let's see if you've got what it takes. Each round begins by moving the sun tracker down one space on the daylight track. Each sun space can trigger actions like bringing an event card into play or competitions which discards dogs from the top of the city board. Now let's move on to individual turns. On your turn, you'll do 4 things in this order: roll, move, actions, and then track. Starting with roll, you will begin your turn by rolling a die. If you start your turn on a city space, you'll roll the city die. However, you will roll the park die if you start at a park. These dice indicate what your dogs are up to this turn, and this is the only way you can get your dogs to poop, which they are more likely to do at the park. Next is movement. You will move the exact number of spaces on your city board equal to the speed of your slowest dog, making sure to end your movement in an empty space. After you finish moving, you may perform one action: pick up a dog, do a neighborhood action, or drop off a dog. Picking up a dog allows you to choose one of the available dogs on your city board that lives in the current neighborhood you are at. When picking up dogs, you have to make sure they are compatible with other dogs you are already walking. You can also take a neighborhood action. These allow you to do activities with your dogs, like take a photo of them, or even buy a coffee at a local coffee shop, which gives you more energy and allows you to take more actions on future turns. You can even grab a dog treat, which can be applied to dogs to bribe them to ignore all restrictive attributes that they might have. The final action you can do is dropping off a dog at its home after it has walked their minimum walk length. You remove this dog from your walker board and earn the payment shown on the dog card. You will also get extra tips if you took a picture of your dog, did its favorite activity, and/or got it to poop. If eligible, you can also gain rewards at this time, which allow you to have better abilities such as a 3rd dog walking spot and the ability to go to a dog park. Finally, we move on to tracking. After completing your actions, you will slide all your walk tracker tokens to track the progress on each dog that you walked with this turn. And if any dogs have reached their minimum walk length, you flip the token over to its home side, showing that the dog is ready to be dropped off. This token will now slide slowly to the left, and you have to make sure to return the dog to its owners before it reaches the end of the track, or you will be late. The owners won't be too happy about that, and you will miss out on some tips. Rounds will continue like this as players fight to collect the most tips. After the final round, players will total the dollars earned for dogs walked, tips, reviews, personal goals, and any advertisements that they may have posted during the final few rounds of the game. And the walker who earns the most money wins the game. Alright, so I really hope that overview gives you a kind of a general idea of how this game plays, but we're going to kind of jump into our final thoughts about Bark Avenue, starting with what we liked. So Kim, do you want to take it away? What was something that you liked about this game?
The strongest point for this game is its theme. Like, it's dripping. It is dripping in theme. Like the dog walking game. Like, if you like dogs, you like New York City, and you enjoy, like, I sent, when I played this with my son, I took a picture to one of my best friends who has, like, she watches dogs, like, that was her business. She watches dogs and she walks them, and she like loves animals. And I was like, this is a game for you because, like, it's her life. I was very impressed with the theme. Like, they thought of everything when it comes to dog walking and what that experience is like.
It comes through in the gameplay. Everything you do makes sense thematically. Like, even down to these dice that you're rolling.
Yes.
Like, if you want your dog to poop more, then you go to the park and you're more likely to, like, get a poop or get a golden poop or something, you know, like in the park. Or like when you're walking your dog, some dogs are fine walking with, like, smaller dogs or bigger dogs, but then other dogs aren't. Because the theme is so strong in this game, it makes, like, explaining this game really easy, because you're able to explain it in a way that I feel like people are able to understand and relate to this theme.
Yes. While, like, the randomness of the dog poop was a little frustrating in terms of, like, I could kind of control, like, collecting other parts about the dog, but you can't, like, sometimes I'd be walking the dog and then I'd have to take the dog back home and it wouldn't have pooped, and, like, I feel so awkward talking about that. But, like, in real life, like, I'm walking my dog and sometimes she poops and sometimes she doesn't. So it's just like, yeah. And even in terms of, like, the different things that you do for the dog to get extra tips, and, like, how, like, if you're just taking the dog out to get out and then back, or if you're actually taking the time to, like, play with the dog,
then
and,
you'll
like,
get more tips.
Yeah, you'll get more tips. The dog treats, because you're, like, training the dog, like, because, like Carly was saying, some of the dogs are only, like, this little dog. She's a little dog. She doesn't want to be walked with big dogs. Okay, you give the dog a dog treat,
and now she's happy.
Yeah, and she's happy, and you're, like, training her to be okay with walking with a bigger dog.
You can tell that, like, this is a game that is based around the theme. They didn't like have the idea of the game and then slap the theme on top of it. It was theme first, definitely, like, you know, dog walking, New York City, and they created a board game around that theme, and I felt that as I was playing this game. I love this layout, how this is, like, actually like the New York map that you are actually playing on, and being so close to New York, and we go down to New York relatively often. We take a train down, so it was so fun because we love New York, and it was just fun. I don't know, the theme just came through so strongly. It really did.
Another thing that I liked about this game are, of course, the dogs. Like, the dogs are very cute.
And I kind of mentioned before, lots of these dogs in here are actually, they're people in real life, like, they're actual dogs. I think it was, like, the Kickstarter that people were able to, like, either nominate or put in their dog to actually be within this dog deck. So it's really fun. Like I said, like I already kind of mentioned before, like, I know a handful of people whose dogs are in this, and so it's so fun when they come up through the deck and you're like, oh, there's Tim's dog, or oh, there's Jenna's dog. I know this is kind of a weird thing, but I really liked the way that the cards read. Like, I feel like the cards, they all, like, read super easy. It was really clear. It was always clear, you know, like, if this dog liked to be walked with other dogs or needed to be solo. And I even liked on the cards how, like, they added, like, what side of the board it was on. It made it so much easier, instead of being, like, I don't know, because there could have been major confusion if they like wouldn't have added those little arrows at the bottom. But because of the arrows, you're like, okay, this dog is right here. You know, and you're just able to very quickly match it up. Now, I love pick up and deliver games, and so I was so excited to dive into this game. just because it was a pick up and deliver game. I feel like that mechanism is really not used a lot in games. I love it. I really love pick up and deliver games. So when I first heard about this game and that it was like a pick up and deliver dog walking, I was really interested in like how they would implement that. But I really love the way that they did. I love how, you first collect a dog and you put your paw print down, and it's able, every time you take a turn, it like moves up, and then once it reaches the maximum that it needs to, it flips over, and then you're almost like on a time limit at that point. And you have to try to figure out the most efficient way to A, drop it off, but B, you also want to make the most money, so you still want to try to get those treats, or try to get the activities, and try to get the photo, try to get them to poop if they can.
Yes, I agree with that thematically the way that they did it does make sense, even like in terms of like if you're trying to walk like multiple dogs that are from like around the same area, and like being able to walk them at the same time, so you're just like trying to maximize your tips and whatnot. Yeah. And then I also really liked the ability of like the coffee. And again, like it's thematic in terms of you drink a cup of coffee, you get a little bit more energy, you get that caffeine boost, and it allows you to do another, and it has like two. So you can drink it halfway and you get an action.
And then you drink the
and then you drink it the rest of the way.
I love that. I love the half and half with the coffee.
Yeah, so like you flip it over and you know that you can use it one more time to, and that gives you like a bonus action to do that turn. I think add a little bit of layer to the game and making it a little bit more interesting and slightly strategic and how you want to use these little tokens. And they're also like cute. They're just cute little tokens. Yeah.
Throughout the game, there are certain times where like events will come out and trigger. Like I know once was like you can't cross Central Park, or it's really rainy, so like something else happens. I liked those little touches. They were fun little like ways that kind of changed up. Every once in a while would kind of change the game.
The other thing is like at the end of the game that I'm like, that's cool that they do that, because at some point you can't pick up any more dogs like at the last 3 turns, because it's like the end of the day.
Yep.
You're not going to be taking dogs out anymore, but you aren't like, those turns aren't wasted, because then you can take any review, like your stars from the reviews. You can go to the coffee shops and you can like, it's posting a flyer. Yeah. So like you put your star and you post your flyer about like, okay, and like you'll get points for that at the end.
I loved that.
And I just thought that was also another really like clever thing that they thought of. So like, if you aren't walking a dog, like if you...
It makes the last few rounds not feel wasted, like you said.
Because maybe some people are like walking dogs to the very last moment, and maybe you are done and you've like returned all the dogs home. You're like, well, now I just have to wait for everybody else. But no, you can still do something and post those flyers.
I love the artwork in this game. I think it was just like so bright. Like it looks so pretty on the table. I loved the artwork on the dogs, and I loved like the upgraded components for like the poop. Like Kim can't handle them. My kids thought they were a hoot. They freaking loved them. But they literally look like, I'll throw up a picture. They literally look like poop. Like they do. They look like I almost can't even touch them.
I know, I can't either. They're squishy. I hate them.
It's so amazing. I love them. Kim hates them. I love them. I think they're so iconic.
I was like, there are some upgrades for a game that just aren't necessary. But I mean, like, I definitely get why.
It looks so hilarious on your board.
My kids would love it. Yeah. One final thing that I enjoyed about the game were the objective cards that you can get, in terms of just walking dogs, having an extra like quest, I guess.
An extra thing that you're focused on.
Yeah, extra thing that you're focused on. I enjoyed that aspect of being able to like think of other ways that I can maximize my tips, and like what do I want to be an expert on in terms of my dog walking resume.
All right, so going into things that we personally disliked about this game, or that we could see others not liking. I think the biggest thing for me was, I think we've kind of mentioned before, or I mentioned how much I love pick up and deliver games. I do love pick up and deliver games, and I really liked it in this game, but at the same time it also felt like it was weird because it felt more simple. Like, it felt pretty simple, but there was also kind of a lot it was a little fiddly in regards to there was a lot of tokens and a lot of stuff you kind of had to manage.
Yes.
Because you had like your steps that you would go through, but then you have a lot of little tokens that you're moving. And like the stars, I always would forget to place my stars after walking dogs like along the side of the path. I don't know why I always forgot that, but I did.
Yeah, you placed
and
them
I
over
would,
there, not here.
Yeah, like I would. No, it's okay. But yeah, like I would always forget, and it would be like a couple people down. I'd be like, oh, I forgot to do that. Would you mind, like, could I quickly place my star because I forgot? Or I would forget to move the feet because I had got a dog, so I put a foot down and I forgot to move the foot for the other one.
Oop.
Like, it's a little fiddly.
I agree with that. The tokens are cute, but there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of tokens.
And there's a lot, like, I was trying to figure out how to put it in words, because this feels like a glorified children's game to me, but it's not a game that's like advertised as a children's game, and there are too many token management for it to be a children's game. But in terms of we play it with our kids, right? Like it's obviously a great game, I think, to play with like kids, but it's not like the Peaceful Kingdom games where you can play like it's meant for kids, you know?
Yeah, the movement was pretty basic.
Yeah, movement was so it was very basic, and because
I felt like I always felt like I could go where I needed to go.
Always, yeah. So like even if you're limited to like your movement is 5 and you have to go up to 5, but like I could just go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like like. I could always get to where I wanted to be. Like, it wasn't challenging. It was just like, all right, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get it done. The only thing that was challenging was rolling this dice to see if I was going to get my dog poop or not.
Yeah. For me, I feel like there's not a ton of player interaction. I mean, there is some competition for, like, the dogs up here at the top, but I never felt like, oh, darn it. I really, I need that dog or I'm going to die. You know what I mean? Like, there will always be more dogs that you can get. There will always be, so you're never really, I mean, technically you are blocking somebody's space, but if you really need to go to a location, especially at lower player counts, and even at higher player counts, I never even ran into this issue. Like, I feel like you would never be in a situation where someone would completely block off a spot.
Yeah.
Like, 4 other people would completely block off a location that you needed. So I feel like there just wasn't a whole ton of player interaction. Another thing is when you're playing this game with 2 people, and I never played it solo, so I assume solo is the same, but you only use half of the board, I'm not the biggest fan when games do that, because you kind of feel like you're missing half of the game.
Yeah, I would rather that they made it double-sided.
Yes.
And had like the 2-player version on the back.
Yes.
And then the 4, like...
Because when you do that and you cut the board in half, it feels weird.
Yes.
It feels weird. It feels like you're playing half a game.
Yes.
Honestly.
Another thing, this is a little bit more like nitpicky that I didn't like. I said I liked the event cards, but I felt like they were over and done like too quick for me. Okay. Maybe I would have wanted to be like every like 3. I played this with Archer, and he felt the same way. He was like, that was like, that didn't even do anything.
There were some event cards that came out that when it was time to replace them with a new one, they like hadn't activated or nothing had happened.
So it was just like, oh, okay, like I guess, all right. So maybe it needed like 1 more turn or something like that.
All right, so you kind of heard some of our pros and cons with this game, but we're now going to go ahead and jump into our final ratings. So Kim, what is your rating for Bark Avenue?
Okay, like oftentimes I feel like split on how to give a rating because the theme is so strong in this game,
strong.
And like it's so well done. Like if I'm rating it purely on theme, it would get like a 10 out of 10 for theme.
Yes.
Like the theme was so good and well implemented, and I would definitely recommend it to any like people who love dogs,
dog walking, even the kids, kids that love dogs. I think they would love this game.
But for my personal like feeling and enjoyment and like bringing it out to the table, I give it a 6. I'm coming in at a 6. It's charming, it's sweet, but like it doesn't fill me. It doesn't make me feel like I'm like let's dive into it again right now. Like if Carly was like, you want to play it? I'm like, yeah, I'll play it. If one of my kids was like, you want to play it? Yeah. If you love dogs, like I'm gonna gift this to you. Like,
yeah.
But I don't need you to gift it to me.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm coming in a little bit higher. I think gameplay-wise, this is around a 7 for me, but because of the theme, I'm giving it a whole extra half point more.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm giving it 7.5. Gameplay-wise, I think it would be a 7. I really do like it, and I think it is a fun one to play, especially, like I said, with kids. I don't know if I would pull this out for, like, game night with, like, adults, like, heavy gamers necessarily. But my kids and I, we actually been playing this a lot lately, and they really enjoy it. But like I said, the extra half point is because the theme is so strong, and me being I love theme is like super important to me, so because like I want to pull this off the shelf, not necessarily because of the mechanics, but because of the theme. Like that's like, and that's what Addie's like, I want to go walk dogs today, like let's go walk dogs. And so I think the theme is what's pulling me into this game, and I really like the theme. I think the theme is so fun, and I think it just shines through in the game personally. Yes, I do think it's a little bit simple. I think that there's a little, it's weird because the gameplay, like lots of the mechanics are simple, but there's also a little bit fiddly, kind of some small issues I have with it, but I still enjoy it, and we still have been pulling it off the shelf a lot. So, alright, so those are our thoughts from Bark Avenue from Terradice Games. Huge shout out to Terradice Games for sending us this copy to review for you today. And if you have played this game and if you like walking your dogs, let us know your thoughts about this game and walking your dogs in New York City. I would actually hate to walk my dogs in New York City.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be crazy. But we like it in this game.
Yes.
But until next time, we hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you later.
I'm like always have to like hold the things when I'm talking about like need the moral support from the board game. I don't know about
moral support.
There was a bunch of dogs that had like Archer's like, this is a Harry Potter game. Because there were like 3 dogs, like more than 3 that like were out on the table that had like names from like Harry Potter characters.
You are eating my hand like crazy.
Great, I didn't think about the tension. Oops. Oh, sorry. The tension part. Take that, Carly.